what we're going to talk about tonight is claiming sprints and speed ratings. You can see a description of the races that I put in the database here. Now, I suppose eventually I'll learn that you need a little pause between one topic and another, but away I went. At least I haven't had a wardrobe malfunction tonight. So you can see we're talking about sprint races, older, fast tracks, etc. And so I want to just kind of show you what we're talking about. This happens to be final time in the last race. And since I'm going to use this diagram, this kind of a chart quite a bit, I want to take a little time and explain it to you, even though many of you know what it's all about. And first, you can see this is a description of the factor, final time in the last race. Now, you can see down the left-hand side, I've got first, second, third, front half, rear half. In reality, when I say front half, I don't really mean half of the field. I mean half plus 1. We determined a long time ago that that was the correct way to divide a field. So in other words, in an 8-horse field, it's 5 horses. In a 10-horse field, it's 6 horses. In a 9-horse field, it is also 5 horses. So 8 or 9 become 5, 10 or 11 become 6. That's how we did it. And so rear half in an 8-horse field would be beyond 5. Okay, everybody knows what starts, pays, and percentages. Dollar net is the average return for $2. So $2 is break even. Impact value is wins divided by expected wins. And as you can see here, it says wins, expected wins is 1 divided by the field plus 1. In other words, what we're saying is impact value is the number of wins divided by adding up the percentages. If a horse is in a 5-horse field, then he should have won 20% of a race. If he was in a 10-horse field, he should have won 10% of a race. It's a little more accurate than what they used in William Quirin's day or in Frederick Davis, who preceded him. Finally, we have pool impact value. And pool impact value is relative to the pool. So in other words, it's the number of pays divided by the number of expected payoffs. And instead of summing 1 divided by field, and I actually said field plus 1, I meant to say 1 divided by field. Instead, it's the pool percentage wagered on each horse. And because of rounding, there's a little error, and you can see it amounts to, so that 97% is actually average. That's because of breakage and so forth. Okay, so moving on. When I say what speed ratings are important, first of all, you have to understand that we have 21 different ways that we look at speed ratings. And I'm not going to go through all 21 one at a time. By the way, I have a question. It says, PIV, what does 1.05 mean? 1.05 means that horses ranked first for this factor outperformed the public's estimation by 5%. Now understand 5% won't get you anywhere near even. If you take the breakage, the takeout, let's say you've got an 18% takeout. So from $2 you subtract 36 cents. So 164 would be break even. So it would be a reasonable expectation would be that this 164 times 1.05 would be the real dollar net relative to how the public wagers. And we'll leave the rest of that. That can be a very complex conversation, so we'll leave it for another time. Okay, 21 ways of looking at speed. First of all, we have last race, the single race matters kind of approach. Okay, So it's the best of last 3 races or the best of last 4, etc. We also have the multiple races, best 2 of last 3, 2 of last 4, 3 of last 4. We also have the averages, 2, 3, and 4. Then we have best ever, second best, best 2 ever. Then we have the others, best sprint, dirt sprint, or best dirt. And finally, we have the time limits. Okay? So as you can see, there's a lot of different ways of looking at it. Now, when people talk about speed ratings, it's like somebody says, well, what if you bet the Beyer number? Well, which Beyer number? I mean, if a horse has got 10 pace lines, he's got 10 Beyer numbers. So the question is, in which kind of race do you use which pace line or pace lines together? So, whenever you do a study, every study needs to begin with a question. So in this case, the question we want to know is, which of these speed ratings produce the highest impact value in the number 1 ranking? So let's go back for a second and take a look. This is our smorgasbord to choose from. Okay, and so which factor, if you were to bet the number 1 ranked horse, which factor would produce the most winners, basically, the highest impact value?